When you talk about school lunches, hey, I worked my way through high school. I don't know about you, but I worked since I was, before I was even 13 years old. I was picking berries in the field before we had child labor laws that precluded that. I was a paper boy. And when I was in high school, I worked my entire way through. You're telling me that kids who stay at home instead of going to work at Burger King, McDonald's during the summer, should stay at home and get their free lunch instead of going to work? I think we need to have a top-down review.
I want you to pause for just a second and take in what you just heard. A former ER doctor turned Republican congressman had the nerve to say that literal children don't deserve free school lunches because they didn't sufficiently work hard enough to earn that right, all on national television. Pure shamelessness aside, this is classic Republican politics through and through. Blame all of our society's failures on personal responsibility, cut funding, crippling government institutions and the infrastructure for social safety nets, then turn to the convenient solution of privatizing said institutions and awarding them to the oligarchs who funded the whole project.
This gives us a chance, though, to see where is the money really being spent. Who can actually go and actually produce their own income? Who can actually go out there and do something that makes them have value and work skills for the future? I mean, how many people got their start in fast food restaurants when they were kids versus just giving a blanket rule that gives all kids lunches in high school who are capable of going out and actually getting a job and doing something that makes them have value, thinking about their future instead of thinking about how they're going to sponge off the government when they don't need to. We don't give people value. We don't give them the ability to dig themselves out when we penalize them for actually working and actually keep them on welfare. That's what's been the inner city problem for a very long time. We need to have a top-down review so we can get people out of poverty.
McCormick really let the white hood slip off at the end there with the old school inner city dog whistle that paints non-white welfare recipients as nothing more than leeches that need to be removed from our society. But he couldn't say something like that out loud, at least on CNN, while the rich McCormicks of the world are fighting tooth and nail to make everyone's lives worse. Except for their corporate benefactors, there are at least some Dems out there willing to lead by example.
It is now law.
Tim Walz did this all the way back in early 2023, well before he was touted as a running mate for VP Kamala Harris. The Dems should have been playing this clip on repeat and adopting measures like this instead of sucking up the corporations and touting the endorsement from a war criminal like Dick Cheney. But we're talking about a Dem party establishment that has capitulated to the fascists and has no vested interest in winning elections.
Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
I'm surrounded by states who are spending their time figuring out how to ban Charlotte's Web in their schools while we're banishing hunger from ours with free breakfast and lunch. That's what the public's looking for. That's what they're trying to get to. And they will weirdly obsess with everything to be mean and cruel and small in their ideas.
So while other states were banning books from their schools, we were banishing hunger from ours. We also protected reproductive freedom because in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make. And even if we wouldn't make those same choices for ourselves, we've got a golden rule. Mind your own damn business.
The DNC and Kamala Harris's campaign deciding to muzzle Walz and railroad him after he palpably energized the base by giving progressives a seat at the table may be the biggest mistake the Dems have made since icing out Bernie Sanders' presidential hopes in both 16 and 20. A strong and properly functioning opposition party doesn't concede to the other side's narratives and agendas, but that's wishful thinking when the party is still corrupted by the influence of billionaires and massive corporations and refuses to critique capitalism itself at all.
Donald Trump's reckless action cut off funding to law enforcement, farmers, schools, child care, veterans, and health care. While he was out golfing, he threw the country into crisis. This is not bold. It's not leadership. It's stupid, buffoonish, childish of exactly what they did. Minnesota is a state that pays far more into the federal government than we get back. Those are our dollars that he is stealing unconstitutionally. Congress, as I served, as Attorney General Ellison served, appropriates the dollars. This is so far beyond the pale to try and pull these dollars back. And the real thing about this was he has no idea. I understand this. Donald Trump has no idea the implications on this.
Walz had this to say in the wake of Donald Trump ordering his Office of Budget and Management to freeze funding for federal grants and loans, which was unceremoniously rescinded not even 24 hours after it went into effect, after the brazen power grab led to fierce backlash.
Case of that this is a trial balloon to see how much tolerance we had and what we pull back. I make this analogy. It's like you caught someone and they stole everything out of your house. You caught them and you told them to put it back. And when you start looking, some of it's still gone. What they're going to see is, oh, they didn't raise a stink about meteorologists or our folks who are monitoring PFAS in our water, so let's just go on with that. Or people that we don't think have a voice that we want to marginalize and demonize. Republicans always want to talk about cutting government. That's in theoretically. They never want to be specific because we know that these programs are incredibly popular. This is a long fight. This is ideologically everything you laid out. They want to destroy the federal government, this buyout of employees, because now they threaten them. It's here. The game is here. We knew it was coming. I don't know what people thought.
Every time you see Donald Trump and J.D. Vance ripping whatever little rights we have left away from us, just know that the Dem Party establishment made the conscious decision to wrangle Tim Walz in and refuse to let him speak on topics he's not only knowledgeable about, but also deeply passionate about.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.